Hey Tom, tell me about your beautiful little car here.
Well, I'm happy to show you today my 1955 Sunbeam Alpine Roadster. It's called a Series 1 because they only made these for about maybe 2-3 years until they changed the style to the sleeker little Alpine that you see on the TV show Get Smart. But this is the first one, and I think it's a beautiful design, a real classic design. And I have to say, it's with mixed emotions that I'm here today talking to you, because if I didn't have 2 kids in college and tuitions due, I would never be selling this. What's particularly interesting about this car is that it's an exact duplicate of the one that Grace Kelly drove Cary Grant around in the Hitchcock movie To Catch a Thief in 1955. An interesting story about that is that Hitchcock was looking for a car for Grace Kelly to drive in the movie. And she was this petite little woman, and so a Jaguar was way too powerful for her. And then they thought about a Mercedes, but that didn't seem right. They thought about one of the old T-Birds from '55, and that just didn't seem right for the south of France where she was driving around. So Hitchcock's wife saw an ad for this Sunbeam in a magazine, told him about it, and he said, "That's it." They called the Roots company, which was the manufacturer of Sunbeam, and they rushed one down to Cannes in France just in time for the filming. What happened, though, was they shot all the scenes in France with Grace Kelly and Cary, all shot at the Carlton Hotel and up in the hills. They shipped it back to Hollywood, to Paramount, to do all the blue screen shots, the rear projection shots. Then the car disappeared. It has never been seen again. Now, they know the serial number of that original car. That's known, but nobody has ever come to the surface to say they have it, and I'm pretty sure it's been destroyed. They only built about 1,200 of these Series 1s, of which they think there's maybe less than 200 still in existence. I looked and looked and looked for one of these. I saw that movie when I was a teenager, and in the pre-internet days, it took me a long time to even find out what kind of car it was. I looked at a lot of these, and most of them were either beat up or modified badly or weird colors. And then I heard about a guy in Ohio who was a specialist in Alpines, who was restoring one, had been working on it for 2 years, and he'd found it in a barn. I have all the restoration photographs. Anyway, he bought it. And when I heard about it and heard that he had matched it to the one in the movie, I said, "That's it," and I bought it.
Awesome.
And I've had so much fun with it. This is, if there is such a car as a chick magnet, this is it. I have friends with Ferraris, and I have friends with Rolls Royces, and I have friends with Packards, but nothing attracts women like this car. And I don't know if it's just the color or the sportiness of it, but they just love it.
Something awesome. Well, I'm going to shut this off for a second. We'll get a picture of the engine in the trunk area.
Terrific.
Hey, Tom, what about this power plant?
Well, I wouldn't say it's the most powerful power plant in the world, but it certainly is enough to power this car with lots of sportiness. That engine is the original 4-cylinder 2267cc engine. It has been modified to run on regular unleaded gasoline, which is terrific. And the engine compartment is really as simple as can be. There's not a lot of fancy stuff. There's no power steering. It's very easy. Anyone could maintain this. Very simple engine bay. By the way, that Lucas decal back there on that battery, that's actually a Walmart battery with a lifetime guarantee that I've still got all the paperwork on. But the restorer put that Lucas decal on there to make it look period.
Awesome. Okay, take a peek at the trunk. Tom, why don't you pop the lid there and let's check out the trunk.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Before I pop the trunk, let me show you something pretty cool though. Down here, take a look. This is a duplicate of the original French license plate that was used on the car that was in To Catch a Thief. You can even see that it's got the French International driving symbol there, and I was lucky enough to find a set of black California plates from 1955 to put on here. But it's just kind of neat because when you put, there's a special key, and when you put it in this slot down here and turn it, this whole panel comes out and drops down, and that's where the spare tire is.
That's awesome.
By the way, there's 5 brand new tires on this car, white walls. But let me show you the inside of the trunk. Here's the movie poster that I take around when I do take this car to rare car shows. This is the movie that I keep referring to, and you'd be shocked how many people love this film, know the dialogue, and just go out of their way to come see it. Also here, I've got the restorer put together a set of panels matched to the color of the car that can be put under the louvers on the hood if you want to keep the water off your engine. But I never drive this car in inclement weather, so I've never even used those. Then down here, this canvas panel has a brand new, never used tonneau cover for the car, which I've also never used, and I've never even opened the convertible top, which is stored behind the seats. Over here, I've got a reproduction of the original owner's manual for the car. This is a workshop manual, looks like an original workshop manual. And then this is a parts supply catalog. And I even was able to locate a copy of the original sales brochure for the car. Huh. Over here, we've got all the tools. These are the jacks. And under the dashboard up front is another set of original tools in their own little custom box. Hey Dave, there's one last thing I want to show you, which I think is pretty cool and pretty special about this Sunbeam Alpine. The people at Motor Trend magazine heard about this car, contacted me, and came out, spent several days with the car, and in the, the October 2013 issue, did an 8-page spread called To Catch an Alpine. Wow. About this car. Beautiful photography. Of course, there's Grace Kelly and Cary Grant in their car. Mm-hmm. But it's a very impressive article. Eight pages, and tells the whole story about the movie and the car and all that sort of. Then, believe it or not, this car has its own agent in the Los Angeles area that finds jobs for this car for fashion shoots. And in the September 2013 edition of In Style magazine, Drew Barrymore was doing a big photo shoot, and they used this car. In fact, it was used in the double, I guess they call that a double truck photograph of her sitting in the car. Awesome. And then here, if I can get to this page, this is kind of a neat behind the scenes shot of Drew Barrymore sitting in my car, and the photographer. These pictures are all over the internet. And as being a nut about this Sunbeam Alpine, I put this book together, and of course copies of this will go with the sale of the car. But here's what it looked like when it was found in a barn in Ohio. Wow. And fellow who found it found all the parts just in boxes. And anyway, it underwent a 2-year restoration, rotisserie restoration from ground up. There it is in primer and double primer. That's when paint started being applied. There's all the new chrome, and there it is when it's finished. And then here's a couple of shots. There's the tonneau cover in place, and I also have pictures from the movie To Catch a Thief showing the car. There's Cary and Grace Kelly with their picnic basket, which is just like the one that I have there. So all in all, that's my 1955 Sunbeam Alpine, and I was really happy to show it to you today.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Okay, Tom, fired up. Runs like a champ. How many miles are on the restoration?
Oh, currently less than 500-600.
Wow.
I've owned it for 2 years. I only took it to shows. Very, very few miles.
Tom,